world, two things are extremely difficult to predict. One is the psychology of women, and the other is the outcome of Manchester United's matches. Everyone believed that a team as strong as Manchester City would destroy a weak and underperforming Manchester United team that had been hammered by Coventry with 3 goals. However, Pep Guardiola and his men left many stunned after the FA Cup final. And what about Manchester United? The FA Cup final will be the day the entire world talks about them. The blue sky will merely serve as a backdrop for the red flowers. After a season filled with ridicule, it was in the final match that Manchester United, like a giant awakening from a deep slumber, won in a way that earned full respect. Even the fans could hardly believe it. Without keeping you waiting any longer, let's dive into the emotional events of the FA Cup final. Manchester City didn't face significant personnel issues, except for the absence of goalkeeper Ederson due to an eye socket injury. Coach Pep Guardiola comfortably fielded his preferred lineup. Compared to the 3-1 win over West Ham in the Premier League finale, City made 3 changes. The centre-back pairing was completely altered with Stones and Ake replacing Diaz and Akanji. Additionally, Doku had to sit out due to Kovacic's absence in midfield, aiming to bolster control in the middle against the opponent's dominant forces. Coach Erik ten Hag didn't have many choices, with an injury crisis still haunting them and form issues persisting. Fortunately, Raphael Varane recovered just in time, allowing Manchester United to field what is considered their best centre-back duo, Varane and Lisandro Martinez. But this would be Varane's last match in the Red Devils jersey as both sides agreed not to renew his contract. Also, Rashford returned to the starting lineup after 6 consecutive matches on the sidelines since the FA Cup semi-final against Coventry. Manchester United had been continuously losing to Manchester City in recent encounters, including last year's FA Cup final. But this year, in a much more challenging situation, Ten Hag entered the match extremely wisely. Ten Hag did not use Rasmus Højlund as the spearhead, meaning Manchester United had no centre forward. Instead, they had more players in front of the box. The return of Varane and Lisandro Martinez seemed to have transformed Manchester United. These 2 players not only made crucial tackles but also contributed to the build-up play. Although Manchester United avoided the usual mistakes they made at home, their playstyle was not about holding out for penalties. Instead, they defended very proactively. Occasionally, the Manchester United formation would push up quickly to press in the opponent's half, making the star-studded City side confused and prone to errors against the Red Devils' scientific play. City was unexpectedly stymied. Even with stars like Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, or Bernardo Silva, their combinations were relatively off-target and not sharp enough to break through the densely packed defense. It wasn't until the 36th minute that City had their first shot on target, but Silva's long-range effort was comfortably caught by Andre Onana. Then, Manchester United reaped the deserved rewards for their early efforts. In the 30th minute, Dalot sent a long pass for Garnacho to chase down, seemingly an easy clearance for City's defense as Joko Gvardiol shielded Garnacho. But the Croatian defender surprisingly headed back without checking, leaving Ortega helpless as Garnacho pounced and scored into the empty net. The heavens seemed to be toying with fate. Man City's most expensive signing of summer 2023, who had been humiliated by Messi at the 2022 World Cup, was again embarrassed by an Argentinian. 3 minutes later, in the 39th minute, City's net was breached for the second time. Garnacho, exploiting City's high defensive line, burst through and crossed perfectly for Rashford to tap into an empty net. However, the goal was disallowed for offside. The sighs from City fans were palpable. They had never felt this breathless all season, not even against Real Madrid, Liverpool, or Arsenal. Yet Manchester United was pushing Ortega's goal to the brink. Pep Guardiola certainly wished for half-time to come sooner to snap his players out of their Premier League title celebrations, but it was too late. United recognised this was the moment City was most vulnerable and didn't miss the chance to extend their lead. Unbelievably, United's forwards made precise decisions all day. Rashford accurately switched play to the opposite wing like Toni Kroos, setting Garnacho up to face Gvardiol once more. It seems the Croatian defender has a particular fear of Argentine dribblers. Garnacho left him behind again, but instead of taking a shot as usual, he passed to Bruno Fernandes. The United captain, who had been scanning for an open teammate, delivered a sensitive pass, opening up the entire goal for 19-year-old Kobbie Mainoo to score, making it the second goal for Manchester United. Everything was falling into place. United looked reborn. Every pass, every move, was top-notch. Who would believe this was the same team that lost 0-4 to Crystal Palace last month? It wasn't until the 55th minute that City created their first dangerous chance. Substituted at half-time, Doku played energetically, constantly troubling United's right flank. On one occasion, he bypassed Wan-Bissaka and crossed to Holland. The Norwegian striker's first-time shot left Onana rooted, but the ball struck the crossbar. Guardiola refreshed his attack further by bringing on Julian Alvarez for De Bruyne. Alvarez's positioning created two clear opportunities, but he missed both. The most regrettable was when he received Foden's through ball but shot wide in a one-on-one with Onana. Guardiola held his head in frustration. This was the best chance City had all game. The Premier League champions even relied on individual brilliance like Kyle Walker's powerful long-range shots. Almost breaking the deadlock twice, Onana denied them both. City finally scored in the 87th minute through Doku's solo effort, driving horizontally across the box before shooting into the near corner. Onana was slow to react and could only touch the ball weakly. However, there wasn't enough time for City to mount a comeback. Frustration was evident when even a seasoned player like Walker got involved in Lisandro Martinez's antics. From psychology to tactics, City were second best in this match, a shocking revelation for many pundits. At the final whistle, Ten Hag joined his players in celebration. Varane held a flag and went to the United fans to bid farewell. This was his last match for the Red Devils. Rashford, teary-eyed, was comforted by Casemiro. They all endured heavy criticism but delivered a performance of a lifetime when cornered. This season for Manchester United was indeed strange. Despite significant investment in the transfer market, 60 injuries, an unprecedented number in history, ravaged their campaign. Yet, when all seemed lost, they defeated the strongest opponent to clinch a European spot and the FA Cup. Such success might be what United needs to stay optimistic heading into the new season.